Tremendous cute, tremendous cute, tremendous cute.
Who's your favorite pitmaster's favorite pitmaster?
Way! Yeah!
Hey, what's going on, Tremendous Q fans? It's your boy here, Wade Morris, owner of Pitmaster Tremendous Q, and today I'm back with another video for you guys. All right, now you know I gotta thank everybody for stopping by. So if you're new to the channel, whether you found it on purpose or you just so happen to trip over it, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, cut on those notifications so you can get notified when I drop all my latest content. All right, for everybody returning to the channel, I appreciate you guys' support, all my returning subscribers. All right, so today I got an interesting video for you guys, all right? I'm gonna be cooking up beef ribs, but we're doing a little test trial, a little cook trial, okay? We are going to answer the eternal debate. Should you or should you not use a binder when you are cooking ribs, cooking meat in general, okay? So for my binder today, I'm gonna be whipping out some mustard. I'm gonna be doing half my beef ribs with mustard on, hit it with my rub, throw it on the grill, and the other half, no binder, no mustard. We're just gonna throw the rub on, put it on the grill, and we'll see how it turns out. All right, so we're answering that eternal debate: what is better, binder or no binder? What creates a better bark? All right, let's jump into the video and see how it turns out. All right, so let's jump right into it and see if we can't answer this eternal debate. All right, got some beef back ribs. All right, 2 packs of these. Now in each of these packs, it's going to be a thick rib and a thinner rib. All right, so we're going to be splitting it up. One of the thins, one of the thicks are going to be getting binded. One of the thins and one of the thicks are not. All right, hopefully we can answer this eternal debate once and for all right here on Tremendous Q. All right, I got to get some sort of award for this, maybe the Nobel Peace Prize. I don't know, what do you guys think? Okay, look, in the end, the big question is, do binders create better bark? All right, I'm going to be using French's yellow mustard for my binder. Now, I've seen guys use mustard. I've seen guys use soy sauce. There's a lot of different things that you can use as a binder. The one general rule is you want to stick with low sugar. All right, and the main reason for that is because sugar burns. Now, it's not going to catch fire, right? Because we're not grilling, we're smoking, so it's not going to be next to or exposed to direct heat. But over time, sugar will still turn your meat very, 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 very dark, and it will have sort of that burnt taste, and that's not what we're looking for with good barbecue. Okay, so we got our ribs, 2 of our ribs, one thin, one thick, with the French's yellow mustard, and we added our salt and pepper rub. All right, I'm using my regular brisket rub. We're using beef ribs, so why not use our brisket rub to keep it simple? All right, so let's go ahead and get these things all the way rubbed down. Don't forget to hit those edges. All right, a lot of folks when they get to seasoning their meat, they hit the top, they hit the bottom, and looks like I forgot to take off that silver skin. So let's go ahead, backtrack, and get that taken off of all 4 of these ribs. And I'm definitely going to have to recoat the thick and thin ribs with our binder and add our seasoning all over again. All right. Hey, look at that. That's a pretty good pull. You got one pull, and I got the whole silver skin off the back of the rib, okay? So if you did not know, beef ribs, just like pork ribs, they do have that silver skin. So don't do like I did and forget to take that silver skin off, all right? Use a paper towel, take that off before you apply your binder and or your seasoning, and be better than me. All right, guys? All right, now that we got our mistake fixed, or my mistake fixed, let's go ahead and reapply our binder. We're gonna put some more mustard on the back and add a little bit more seasoning, just so you know we can make sure that everything looks and is rubbed down exactly how it's supposed to be. All right, now let's go ahead and get these things outside. So pay attention to how I'm putting these things on the rack. All right, I got the binded rib on the back, the unbinded rib in the front, and then I'm going to be doing the same thing on the top. Okay, I'm going to put the binded rib in the back, and we're going to go ahead and throw the unbinded rib up front. Now, I put the thicker ribs on the bottom, the thinner ribs on the top. The bottom rack tends to get a little bit more heat than the top rack does, unless I'm cooking with all 3. All right, so here's what they look like 12 minutes in. Alright, you can see on the right hand side I have the binded ribs on the top, and then on the bottom rack the binded rib is going to be in the back. Alright, so the two ribs on the top and the bottom that are closest to the camera are what are the naked ribs, okay, unbinded, and then the mustard binded ribs are going to be on the back. Alright, now let's see what they look like 20 minutes in. As you can see, we're starting to get a little bit of bark forming on our naked ribs, all right, our ribs without the binder. And from personal experience, I could say that is because the naked ribs don't have as much moisture. The binder has moisture in it, and so that moisture also has to dry out before the bark can start to form on your binded ribs. Okay, so there as you can see, we got our naked ribs, we got the bark is really starting to come together, and the binded ribs, you know, they were just now starting to dry out. This is about 40 minutes in. You can clearly see which ones are naked versus which ones are binded. On the naked ribs, you got the meat already starting to pull back. There's a little bit of pullback on our binded ribs as well, but not nearly as much, okay? So we're gonna let these go for another 10-15 minutes, and now it's going to be time to wrap them up. Okay, now I lost a little bit of content. I was going to show you guys exactly what they look like before I got them binded, but I decided to use a little movie magic. All right, so now you can just see them side by side. All right, so essentially the color on the binded ribs, what I figured out is once the binder did dry out, once that mustard did dry out, it really darkened up very fast. Okay, so I wrapped these. I ended up wrapping them at the same time. Okay, ignore the movie magic. It's not just wrapping at the same time on the camera. I actually pulled them off the pit and I wrapped them all at the same time. And you can clearly see that the color on these ribs came out about the same. All right, so after I got done burning my hand, I got the two ribs on the bottom rack wrapped up as well. Whew, that was a mouthful. I got the two ribs on the bottom rack wrapped up as well. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and switch gloves and then put these things back on so I don't burn my hands again. All right, obviously we had a little fire. You got to be careful when you're using these Kamado grills. They use that lump charcoal and they retain a ton of heat, all right? But it's not a big deal. Just go ahead and close that lid real fast and the fire will choke out, all right? Now, a little more movie magic. You know, we fast forward. Total cook time on these things ended up being about 2.5-ish hours, okay? And you can see from the bend through the paper that these things turned out incredibly tender, all right? But let's go ahead and get inside so I can show you guys the proof. Here's the naked, no binder beef ribs, all right, compared to our mustard binded beef ribs. You can see that they are a teeny bit darker in the end than our binded ribs, okay? But let's see what the inside looks like. Is there a difference in the smoke? Did more smoke penetrate or less smoke penetrate on our binded ribs, or I'm sorry, our naked ribs than our non-binded ribs, okay? You can see on the naked, we got a lot of moisture retention, a lot of that fat broke down, and it ended up moisturizing the meat, okay? What about on our binded ribs, all right? Smoke ring looks a little bit thinner on these, and you'll see here a little bit later in the video, I'm gonna do a side-by-side. Actually, now I'm going to do the side-by-side. You can actually see the difference between the binded ribs and the unbinded ribs in terms of smoke ring and bark, all right? The binded ribs are a little bit darker, and the smoke ring is a little bit, or the binded ribs are a little bit darker, and then the smoke ring is a little bit thicker on our unbinded ribs, all right? So keep that in mind when you start trying to figure out, hey, do I want to use a binder this go around, or do I not want to use a binder, all right? Now, in the end, binded rib, or I'm sorry, naked rib, our unbinded rib, and our binded rib had virtually no taste difference, all right? I could not taste the difference between the two. You can see clean bite, very tender on both of them. Personally, in the end, I really just think it comes down to a personal preference as far as the bark goes in terms of color and how thick of a smoke ring you want, all right? If you're doing competitions versus at home. So keep that in mind, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. We finally answered the question, binder, no binder. See you guys in the next video. Peace.